What's going on, guys? Zambano here, and today we're going to go over my game of the week for NFL Week 10 of the 2016 season. And my game of the week this week is going to be the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football, primetime on NBC. This game is a big deal because this is a rematch of Super Bowl 49 just 2 years ago, and one of the most exciting football games I've probably ever watched. As you all can recall in that game, that is where Malcolm Butler got the big interception on the goal line against Russell Wilson, the big debacle of whether or not they should have run the ball with Marshawn Lynch. Now, these two teams look a lot different than they did in that Super Bowl. The defense for the Patriots is not nearly as strong as it was at that time, losing guys like Darrelle Revis, Cromartie, Chandler Jones, and now Jamie Collins, who has recently been traded to the Cleveland Browns. You have a lot of big-name Pro Bowl players off of that defense, and that defense is not as strong as it once was. The Seattle Seahawks, you have some injuries. The run game isn't nearly as effective now that you've lost Marshawn Lynch. They're a little bit different-looking team as well, so this is going to have a different feel to it than that Super Bowl did, where it seemed like these two powerhouses that are just stacked with talent all over the board. They're a little bit more depleted, but they're still powerhouses in the NFL. The Patriots right now are probably the best team in the league. They have a 7-1 record. They are currently the best team in the league record-wise and first place in the NFC. The Seahawks, as of right now, are kind of they're not first place or second place having a bye, but they're still in the playoff hunt, leading their division and arguably the most difficult division to win in the NFL. So this is a big-time game that has a lot of playoff implications on the line. So the very first thing, when I looked at these two teams, I wanted to think, I like to go straight to the stat sheet and just see, are there any stats that jump out to me off the page that make me think, whoa, that could be very significant in this game. The first one I found is that the New England Patriots this season have only gotten 13 sacks on defense. Now, that's a pretty big deal for a team that is playing against the Seahawks, who are not known for having a good offensive line. The Seahawks, if they have a weakness on their offense, it's been their offensive line. They have guys that used to play defensive line in college, transitioning over to play offensive line, and guys who are rookies that have never played the position before, or really, I feel like aren't qualified to be starters in the NFL at times, are starting on their offensive line, and they've struggled mightily against teams with good defenses. Now, the Patriots, like I said, their defense is not as good this year as it has been in the past. They've only gotten 13 sacks. So if you really want to try and pressure the Seahawks team, one of the best ways to do it is by bringing a good pass rush and forcing them to get the ball out of their hands quickly, or getting Wilson to run outside the pocket. That's not going to be a strength they're going to have in this game. Another thing, the Patriots have only allowed 15 touchdowns this season. So while they're not getting after the quarterback, they are keeping teams out of the end zone. But I feel like they could be susceptible to a team that has the ability to score a lot of points with a great quarterback like Russell Wilson. I don't think the Seahawks are a team with a great offense with a lot of good offensive weapons, but I do feel like at any given time, this is an offense that could explode when you least expect it. The Patriots have allowed almost as many first downs and passing yards as they have earned on offense this season, which is kind of surprising to me considering how absolutely dominant they've looked. Tom Brady is just murdering people right now with a passer rating of over 130 on the season. But I'm wondering if this has to do with the 4 games that Brady didn't play. Were they not getting as many first downs and as many passing yards per game during those 4 games that they're getting with Tom Brady? Does that skew these stats a little bit and make it a little bit less impressive with how many yards these other offenses are getting against their defense? Now, one of the hardest things to think about when you're trying to pick a game where the Seahawks and Patriots are playing each other, especially because this game is going to be in Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Brady has only lost 15 home games ever. 15 home games ever in his career he's lost. So that really kind of gives you an idea of how almost impossible it is to beat this Patriots team at home when Tom Brady is there on the field. And Tom Brady said going into this game about Michael Bennett, the defensive end of the Seattle Seahawks, if he's not the best defender in the game, I don't know who is. Well, luckily for him, Michael Bennett is out this week and will not be playing, coming off of a surgery, trying to heal up a little bit. He's not going to be able to play in this game, and he is the best pass rushers that the Seahawks have. Moving over to the Seahawks side of the ball, looking at some of the stats that jumped out for me, they're actually 30th in the league right now in rushing yards per game, and a lot of people are expecting Thomas Rawls, their running back that's missed almost the entire season this year, that really exploded for about 4 games last season. He is going to be out this week again as well, so they're going to be missing their top back, running with the duo of C.J. Prosise, the rookie running back from Notre Dame that was a receiver converted to running back. He's really the receiving threat out there on third downs, and also Christian Michael, who has played pretty decent this year, but obviously with 30th in the league in rushing per game, he's not balling like some people expected he would be. Now, we were talking about how the Patriots have only allowed 15 touchdowns this entire season. The Seahawks have only allowed 13 touchdowns this season. So these are two defenses that are not letting people get in the end zone a lot on them. So it'll be interesting to see which team's going to be able to find the paint more often than the other. Obviously, that doesn't say anything about how many field goals they're letting up or necessarily field position. That's just getting into the end zone. So they have stingy defenses when it comes to getting inside the end zone. The Seahawks, like I said, even though they have an awful offensive line, they've only actually allowed 16 sacks this season, and they've earned 27. So they're really outproducing themselves on defense compared to what they're giving up sack-wise on offense. And if you want to get after Tom Brady, usually you want to do it by rushing up the middle of the defense, creating pressure from inside out. We'll see if they're going to be able to do that against a Patriots offensive line that isn't really stout or really that impressive. Tom Brady just gets the ball out of his hands so fast that sometimes it doesn't matter. But earning 27 sacks on the season thus far is pretty impressive, so we'll see what happens. But again, Michael Bennett is out this week, so maybe that pass rush won't look as prominent as it should. Another big key factor for the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson's ankle seems to be healing a lot. He injured it originally in Week 1 against the Miami Dolphins when that defensive line was just feasting on him all game long and forcing him to scramble out of the pocket. He hurt his foot, and now it seems like he's maybe getting a little bit of that mobility back. I think he and Tom Brady have about the same amount of rushing yards on the season right now, which is pretty interesting. So Russell Wilson with a healthy ankle, he looked pretty good this past week against the Buffalo Bills. Hopefully that momentum can keep him going forward and getting more points and getting this offense back on track. The Seahawks do have the addition of Jimmy Graham that they got through the last offseason in a trade with the Saints. He's playing great this season after coming off a big injury. He's been looking pretty phenomenal, had a great game against the Buffalo Bills as well, where he had 2 touchdowns, 2 incredible one-handed touchdowns, I should say, and we'll see if the Patriots can slow him down, but the Patriots have actually been good this season so far against guarding against tight ends. Another thing the Patriots defense is good at is taking away your number 1 wide receiver, and the Seahawks really at wide receiver, I feel like it's a pretty thin group. You have guys like Jermaine Kearse, Tyler Lockett, and then of course Doug Baldwin, their number 1. But let's say the Patriots are able to relatively shut down Doug Baldwin. Are either of those other 2 receivers, Kearse or Lockett, going to be able to really ball out for the Seahawks team and have a big game and help them put that passing offense on the map there? Because like we said, that rushing game isn't really getting the job done, even though that's what their identity has been for the past few years. So they're going to need someone to get themselves open and have a good game against this Patriots defense to be able to get in the end zone. Maybe it's going to have to be Jimmy Graham, but like I said, the Patriots have been guarding tight ends well thus far. If I had to make a prediction of who's going to win this game, I just don't know if the Seahawks are going to be able to score enough points to outscore Tom Brady. Even though he's playing against such a great defense, one that's only allowed 13 touchdowns this season, Brady's playing out of his mind right now. That 2 tight end package is pretty insane that they have, with Rob Gronkowski and the other Bennett, Martellus Bennett, Michael Bennett's brother. I'm not sure if the Seahawks will be able to stop them or slow them down enough, especially without the pass rush of Michael Bennett being in there. I'm going to take the Patriots winning this game. Like I said, Brady's only lost 15 home games in his career. I think the Patriots will be able to squeak this one out. I don't want them to win as a Dolphins fan, but I do think that they're probably the better team right now. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Patriots and Seahawks meet up again in the Super Bowl this year, 2 years after they were in the Super Bowl against each other. I think these are 2 of the best teams in the NFL. The Seahawks usually turn it up late in the season, and it's hard to bet against a team like the Seahawks when you have a good coach, a good defense, and a good quarterback. That's a recipe for success. So I'll take the Patriots in this game at home over the Seahawks, but don't be surprised to see them play each other again in the not-too-distant future in February. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please press like. Feel free to subscribe. I'm Zambano, and I'm out.